So explain it, because it's not like it doesn't really fall into the category of like a data flow diagram or something. I just kind of started brainstorming while I was on stream.
Yeah.
So the circles are the actual services I want to interact with. Twitch, YouTube, Facebook.
Yeah.
The diamonds are mechanisms or entry points from which you have to use to interact with that service. So we have, for Twitch, we have our IRC service, which is the real-time chat messages. The API for getting and updating your personal data, and then the ingest server to push our TMP stream up to. Same thing, but all of them have ingest servers.
Yeah.
And then in the case of YouTube, you have to use the YouTube data API streaming. And then Facebook has a separate live video API, I think is what I read for that. The ovals, those are kind of an abstract thing. What they represent is a responsibility or a feature that will exist within the system. Whether that's a routine that's being like orchestrated within like a monolith or a separate service is kind of an implementation detail I haven't really gotten to yet. But that's just describing like these are the individual like areas of responsibility within the system, such as the one that's literally the whole purpose to like watch my Twitch chat and push it upstream into like a pub sub so I can aggregate it. Kind of like how Restream has a chat bot. And then obviously all those services need some way for you to control your account, update your stream title, descriptions, blah, 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 all that stuff. And as of right now, the whole purpose of all of those essentially is to it's two responsibilities. One is to do the multi-streaming itself, which is actually extremely easy to set up. And then the actual chat aggregation is the more complicated part. But it's literally just, start watching everything's chat, put it in, I don't know, fucking Res or something. Have another service subscribe to all those topics, and then push them up to like something connected via a WebSocket, like a chat embed, and then put chat embed in OBS and clap, there you go, you're multi-streaming.
Okay.
The multi-streaming part, reason why it's so easy is, so there's an open source module for Nginx that's for RTMP. And literally all you have to do to be able to take the incoming RTMP stream and push it upstream to something else is literally one line of config.
Okay, so basically, the way I'm seeing it here is you would take OBS, you would give it the key to your RTMP server that you're going to host on some sort of VPS somewhere. And then you would basically just push out that stream to the ingest servers for Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, and whatever else you want to basically use. Okay.
You got it.
So
the only part that makes that a little more complicated is, so the way, and you probably already understand this, the way Twitch handles live streaming and the way something like YouTube handles live streaming are different. So Twitch, your profile is technically always live.
Right.
You can your RTMP address and a stream key and shit never change.
Yeah.
YouTube and Facebook, you're not always live. They're what the terminology Restream uses. They're event driven. Every time you want to go live, you have to create a new event. Each new event has a new stream key, a new RTMP URL, and a new chat room address. So I would basically have to engineer it so that some way, when I created a new YouTube event or a new Facebook event, it would trigger something that causes the RTMP server that's using Nginx to update the config and reload Nginx.
Right. So I'm sure that YouTube has some way to query your scheduled events.
Yes.
So basically, you would make it on either Facebook or YouTube, and then mirror it over to the other service, I would assume.
Yes.
Okay. And then basically just pull your stream key from that through whatever method makes the most sense for those services. That makes sense. So what sort of VPS capabilities would you actually need to make something like this practical?
Well, VPS wise, so they're not pushing upstream. I actually already made like a Docker image that actually has Nginx, the RTMP module, and FFmpeg compiled into it. FFmpeg is not technically necessary. You can use FFmpeg if you want to actually be able to stream directly from your server itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like to actually have something like consume the stream from your server.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you can do with FFmpeg is take the incoming stream and adapt it to these other formats that allow like the adaptive bitrate rendering. Right. Like, you know, like on YouTube, if you're like bandwidth shit, it like scales down your resolution.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I test tried that and it kind of ran like shit, but I wasn't sure if that was because the way it was implemented or because it was running on literally the cheapest droplet DigitalOcean has.
Mm-hmm. So how much do you think you would be paying DigitalOcean or Linode, whoever you decide to go with, to actually have something where you could practically stream to 3 platforms at once? What do you reckon that would put you in the range of?
Well, the droplet can basically be running very low resources because actually most of the stuff is just more like, I guess, seeing how much network usage would be used.
Yeah,
that's part where most of the cost would come from. I forget how some of them have different rules about how network costs are calculated, and some of them I forget how it works exactly. I think it's like incoming traffic is counted, but outgoing traffic isn't. I forget how it works.
I feel like at some point there's going to be some little note in their terms of service where outgoing traffic would be important.
I mean, yeah, it probably is. Like it'd be one of those things where I'd probably just have to like get the multi-streaming part working, and then one time instead of using Restream, I just try it and then just watch the analytics and see what the data usage looks like.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So to formally answer your question, I have no fucking clue.
Not the cheapest one. That's the answer. But hopefully cheaper than what you'd be able to do with Restream, I would hope.
Possibly. The advantage I would have with this and what I want to have it in so that I could just tear it down, throw it back up on a whim.
Yeah. Well,
and which would help a lot on the cost because obviously all those servers, they only charge you while running. So if I only start it up when I'm going to use it and then I just tear it back down, that substantially reduces the cost.
Yeah. Well, another problem with Restream is it's fairly cheap to do 2 services, but if you want to do any more than that, then the price goes way, way up.
Especially also if you want to, what I was doing, which was multi-streaming to something besides a Facebook personal profile. For some reason, they charge you more if you want to do if you want to live stream to like a professional page or group. They make you get like the $19 a month service.
Okay, so let's see. I'm looking at it right now. There is the free version is useless. Don't ever use the free versions. No point. So $16 a month. Actually, no, sorry, I was wrong. $16 a month gives you 1 extra destination, so you can stream to YouTube and Twitch. But if you wanted to go to Facebook as well, then you have to go up to professional version, which is $41 a month.
I think it was on sale whenever I did it, because I definitely was.
Okay, well, it's $41 right now anyway.
There's no fucking way I'd pay $41 for that.
So yeah, as long as it's like, I don't know, let's say $30 a month. That would put you... I don't know why there's not a plan in between those two. That's really weird. Like, why is there not one for streaming to 2 platforms at a time? 2 extra platforms. And then the next one above that is 10 destinations. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this billing? Yeah, I can see why you're doing this.
Well, see, the thing, I don't know if I said this or not, whenever I talked to you or not. The reason I ultimately decided to do this actually had no billing. It had to do with the fact of, so do you, I think you may remember this because this was kind of relevant whenever I was still doing like YouTube and stuff more frequently before, was do you remember how a little bit of hype got generated when basically like a Chinese Twitch knockoff called Trovo kind of got hyped up?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to leverage that hype, but I had to wait for Restream to integrate the fucking platform to do it. So one, they took longer than I wanted to even integrate it baseline where you can multi-stream to it, which I don't know how their shit is set up, but if it was using my setup, it would take 10 fucking seconds. But I think even to this day now, it's not integrated to the point where like the chat bot relays stuff like it does on like YouTube and stuff. And to me, I think that kind of defeats the purpose of it to some extent. And that aggravated the fuck out of me. I really wanted to be able to kind of ride the hype a little bit, but I got fucked out of it. So I want to be able to say, oh, there's this platform I want to stream to. Okay, well, I already have all this existing architecture and this existing code base, and I probably already have some patterns in place by that point. All I do is, okay, drop an extra line in my Nginx config, kind of probably not take much time to create another chat aggregator for that platform. Ta-da, integration.
Right, here's what you do, okay? Right? You get all this set up, put it up as like the entire thing is like a Docker image. I pay you $16 a month, and there we go. Now other people start paying you every month, and now you're eliminating the need for Restream. You've just basically undercut them, and now you don't have to work a job anymore.
Well, here's what I want to do if this would start to mature to the point where I want to take it from something that I just use to something that normies could use, is I actually would like to be able to take it and make something and mature to the point where somebody just said, hey, I want to start doing my own restreaming, and literally like run like one script or something, and boom, their own multi-streaming architecture setup.
Well, yeah, Restream is probably
me on GitHub or something.
There are other services besides Restream, like Streamlabs you can do it through, but I feel like they're all way overpriced.
It's like, well, it's not even necessarily. To me, the price isn't really the issue. It's
$41 a month.
Speed, it's speed with I want to be able to adapt to where my content's going as I see fit.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, I don't give a shit how agile, I don't give a shit how lean these places are. They will never be able to move as fast as just one bearded boy in his fucking room can move.
Well, yeah, you can, like, let's say that a library's like, hey, we're going to start live stream, which is something they're working on. I have heard whispers through the grapevine.
That'd be nice.
You could add that pretty simply. Like, they're going to wait for a while. People are going to ask them. If you want to do it, you can just go set it up yourself. Yeah,
pretty much. Like, I would probably, some way or some, I would be like, hey, tell me what the RTMP address is. Next day, boom. Hey, guess what? We are live on. I guess it'd be Odyssey, probably not library,
but yeah. Well, if they do start doing live stream, then you wanted to stream over there, then they are fairly helpful. Like Tom, you can get into contact with pretty easily, and I'm sure like even Jeremy would be like, yeah, okay, we'll help you out with this.
It would just be like, gentlemen, you just give me an RTMP address, and you tell me how to interact with whatever. I'm good to go. We live, gentlemen.
Yes, because that would be massive. Being able to stream to YouTube and then library at the same time. That right there, that's how you undercut Restream.